All right, we are live, I believe.
Right. We are live, I believe.
Yeah, okay, cool. Late start again. Oh boy. Let's get this going. All right, new streaming setup. Just got it figured out today. Some things already aren't working, but I've got here on the lathe a bowl that we've got the outside turned and finished. This is a basswood bowl. We're going to finish up the inside and then start another project today as well. It is Turning Tuesday. If you're new here, if you have seen it before, welcome back. We're trying to work to eventually get to doing a giveaway of the projects that we build, but still haven't quite worked that out yet. So still working out the kinks on that. But for now, let's make a piece of art, shall we? A couple of things I need. Gotta plug some things in here. 1 second. Hope everybody's week is starting off well. Mine's not too bad so far, besides the technical difficulties here that somehow we can't seem to really escape from. So, but other than that, things are going well. I hope things are going well for everybody else here. Let's see. Don't want to unplug that. There we go. I almost just unplugged the camera and everything. That would have been nice, huh? So it's funny, I set the whole streaming setup up last night, did a bit of a testing, and everything worked. And of course, when we come in today to start the stream, what do you know? Something's broken, something doesn't work. So I think we've got it sorted out for the time to be functional. Basically, I was streaming from my phone, got a camera set up in here now, and a monitor so I can monitor things. And after getting that set up, the keyboard and mouse to control everything from in here just stopped working. So that was fun, but it's all good. But it's all good. We are working out the kinks, working them out. Just making sure everything is alive. I'm not trusting any of my equipment right now. So last week's project, what did we make last week? We turned a little maple bowl last week, and we gave that to, I gave it to my wife, and then somebody at my wife's work wanted it, so I gave it to her. So like I have been saying, I want to get to the point where we're able to do giveaways of the projects. I think I figured it out, but one of the issues is I don't know that we'll be able to deliver anything outside of the contiguous United States. Smidgen out of focus. Alright, hold on. Let's see. Hope that's better. Welcome back. We're still trying to figure out the giveaway scenario. Okay, cool. I think I've got the process of how people would enter and stuff. And now I'm just looking at international shipping because I want everybody to be able to enter. But still haven't figured that one out yet. So once I figure that out, we will start giving away some of the projects we're making here. So this is a... Ooh. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because a lot of wood projects, I would assume, probably have some restrictions and whatnot on. So I'm still researching into that. I know within the U.S. I'd probably be good. But unfortunately, for my Australian viewers and anybody else, not too sure about it. But like I said, we're going to look into it and try and figure that out. I also had a couple of other ideas for live streams in the works. Some like competitions and stuff. Like I don't know. We pick a project for people to make during the month, and then at the end of the month, everybody sends in pictures of the projects, and then we kind of review them on here and pick a winner, send something out, something like that. I don't know. Just an idea I've had beyond this Turning Tuesday stream. So I've got the outside of this bowl shaped, and now we're going to hollow out the inside. And then I've got some walnut that I'd like to, I think, make like a shallow plate out of. So hopefully we'll have time to get to that. Yeah, so let's get going. These carbide tools have been great. I just have had to learn to not take so much material off at once. You can kind of tell when you're taking off too much material on this lathe anyways, because it'll start to vibrate and shatter like that. And those vibrations, I remember last week, or I think I was turning this actually off camera, and it had kind of loosened up that chuck and let the bowl fall out. So I've just had to learn to take my time with it, and again, not get too greedy with it. Making sure my air filter is on there. Hope everything's still in focus, going well. This is a pretty deep bowl, so it's going to take a minute to get all this material out. I've seen some people take carbide tools and they'll kind of work them sideways on an angle like this and kind of dive in. I've tried that. Kind of working. Move this a little closer here. Yeah, that international shipping is interesting. My research into it anyway so far. Oh, it's a one because I mean wood it's dead. This isn't alive anymore. There's no seed in there, so I don't know how. I guess maybe, bugs stuck inside that could maybe be invasive, could be an issue. So I get the general, ban on that, but, I would think, I don't know. I would think a made product like this, there wouldn't be such an issue, but one thing I've been learning to do is while I'm cutting on this side, I can't see the inside of this, but I could see over here where that cut's happening. So instead of watching the tool, I'm watching the other side, kind of where the cut happened. So we're getting there. We're probably halfway to the bottom. Beginning to see the shortness of this tool here. Feel it rather, because we're a couple inches in off the left. See if I could get in closer with this. Probably got another inch to remove. I may try and get a different tool rest here. one that I can get in closer with. That's closer though, isn't it? Yeah. Come back. I might lower this a hair if we're able to. Definitely would help if I had a longer tool. I might make an extension for this, you know, to get more leverage. Though not right now. Check how close we are to the bottom. I think I'm about where I want to be on the bottom. We'll just work on getting the rest of it to there. So I hope everybody's week has started off well. Love to hear about it, what you guys have been up to. What are you working on? Any projects? What do we got going on this week? For me, along with the work here, got a bunch of house renovations I'm doing on my own house, some painting and whatnot. Nice. New desk. Yeah. That sounds like a lot of work. But it's definitely nice getting to the end of the project. You want to stand back, look at it, enjoy it, you know. Any other projects on the books coming up, or is it just a little rest period? I know when I finish, well, lately it's like I finish one project and there's 3 others in line for me to finish, so that's cool. What did you make the desk out of? I think my audio may be peaking a little bit. I don't know. Can't edit it from here though. Stop and feel where we're at. Tasmanian oak. Interesting. I assume that's, I don't know what we would compare that to. Huh, interesting. I was going to ask if it was if you knew if it was comparable to any of the American or English oaks, but that's interesting. A buddy of mine has done 1 or 2 trips to Australia. Definitely a place I'd love to visit. I find it interesting just to like completely different types of woods, across the world. My wife's from Mexico, and seeing down there some of the more of the tropical side of it, but seeing the type of just these like kind of rainforest. I don't even know what type of wood it is, but it's really red, kind of tropical wood. That's interesting how many different types of wood there are on the planet, My favorite wood to work with is probably ash. I make a lot of furniture out of that. Yeah. We're getting there with the bowl here. May probably go slightly deeper, but I don't want to go too deep. That's the thing about this, you cannot add wood back. Just going to work on thinning the walls out. So we're not going to take much more out of the bottom, and then here I am taking more out of the bottom. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, walnut, I work a lot with it sometimes at the company I work at. That's where I got some of these scraps. But it is pretty expensive over here anyway, so it's not something that I usually use either. Yeah, white oak's that's a popular choice over here. Is the Tasmanian oak, is it pretty expensive? Like, what does it go for a board foot? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't imagine what, because walnut here is, some of the places is ridiculously expensive. And then having it imported, yeah. I think we could go deeper with the bottom. I think I might just a little bit. I was going to make like a walnut plate. Wow, that's crazy. That's one thing that haven't thought a lot of wildfires affecting, lumber prices and everything. Because there has been the wildfires out in California, but a lot of that stuff, I don't think a lot of the lumber we use around here really comes from there. It's more like grown in the northeastern United States, like ash. It may even could also be from Canada, white oak and that. That's more northern stuff. I know there's trying to think of what other wood might come from California. But yeah. What is Australia's like our cheap lumber here we make houses out of is pine, like there's white pine, yellow pine, and that's a cheap wood that's grown very quickly, so it's construction grade lumber. Okay. Pine, yeah. Though some things I do like making out of pine. Like I just made a bench top. I'm making a video on it for an infeed table. I made that out of yellow pine, just because it's so cheap and easy to get things out of. We got a live audience here. The dog and the wife. Let's see. Go deeper with this. I was planning on making a bowl or a plate out of walnut. Yeah, poplar is nice because it's pretty cheap and it paints pretty well. Good for anything cabinet grade, you know. So I was going to make a walnut plate, but I think I actually might make a lid for this bowl here. Little nice contrast. I think we might try and do that. I've got to finish the editing for part 2 on the last build I did. It's done pretty much, the filming and everything. I just need to edit it and put it together. So that's going to be the next one to come out. Hopefully, these things have been super busy. Hopefully I'll get it up this week. Then after that, I've got a video about infeed and outfeed tables, kind of showing how useful they can be, different ways to set them up. And then we've got a wall cabinet that I'm building for a friend, and then beyond that I got a crib that I still need to design and build because we've got a little one on the way. So a lot to get done, but yeah, we're busy. I'm excited. Should have some good content out of all those things. bevel that edge a little bit so the lid can sit on it. I think we could still go thinner yet. Check this out. Alright, I think I'm liking this. Just one little bump in there I need to clean up. Ooh, that's feeling nice. Okay, now we can sand the inside of this. Yeah, I think we'll make a walnut lid for this. Have we got a piece? Walnut or sapele? I think we'll go walnut. Haven't worked with walnut in this shop yet. Ooh, that's straight over. Do you have sapele or sapele, some people call it? It's this stuff. looks like mahogany, but it's not. It's imported from Africa to here. It's actually a pretty reasonably priced for an imported exotic wood. And I, in fact, use it a lot because of that. I wonder if you guys have it down there or over there in Australia. It's going to be hard to sand the inside bottom of this thing. Ow! Alright, I'm going to grab some other sandpaper real quick. I had bought some new. Where's that sandpaper? That wasn't. Where?
When you put it back on the table, no, but you only say you have a live audience in the table.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You said how we have a live audience.
All right. $120 to $180. And we'll go up to 220. So I've got some here. I don't think I do. Here we go, 240. That's what we need. We'll go to 400 on the inside. And we'll wax it up. I'm going to slightly round that over. I think that is good there. Alright, let's get some wax on this and then we will start to get a piece for the lid. So I've been using paste wax. It's not really a food safe finish, but it's a really easy thing to apply. I'd like to get some beeswax. That'll be food safe. I would assume beeswax is food safe. I know a lot of people use mineral oil as a food safe finish for cutting board and such. But this leaves a very nice finish. Super easy to apply, especially on the lathe like this. Okay. While I've got it in here, I'm just going to coat the outside a little more. Just to shine it up. Give it a quick polish. Already got one coat on it. Okay, we'll pull it off. And there we have it. Little curve around the outside here. Slight little curve. Nice little bowl. Almost wrapped it. Ooh, give that a break. Even though it's still a bit dusty in here. You can see, I don't know if you can see the, there we go. The outside of this bowl has a pretty good polish on it, which looks very nice in the light. Not quite a mirror finish, but definitely very bright. Got a little character here. This is basswood. I probably bought this chunk of wood 4 or 5 years ago. I first started wood turning. I've been woodworking for probably 10 years now. Picked it up from my dad. We took a wood turning class together. And he had bought a lathe. You know, this is 5-6 years ago. And we went and took a class and turned a bowl together. So I bought a big chunk of this basswood. Never did anything with it. And then got this lathe last year, and this is the first piece I've made with that. So yeah, it's looking good. So I got a piece of walnut here. It's a rough sawn. Walnut smells, I love the smell of it. A lot of people, some people I've worked with can't stand walnut. You kind of, I guess, have an allergy to it. But kind of how like cedar has a really aromatic smell, this is kind of same thing. So we need to get a lid out of this. Let's see where a pencil might be. Here is one. Good enough. Just kind of scribe around this. I think these will pair well together color-wise. I'm going to have to go rough this out on the bandsaw real quick, which means I'm going to have to turn some lights on. That's the thing about this lighting, is I'm always turning on and off lights. I don't know if I'll keep it. I got to work out the lighting situation, but I'm going to run this over, cut it on the bandsaw. Let me turn this other light on. May be able to see, might not. We'll get the camera zoomed in over there. How about that? Maybe. Let me switch that out. There we go. There we go. Not very bright, because I got the dang lights off. If you turn the lights on, you'd be able to see. I know. Alright. I actually broke this blade that's on the bandsaw now a couple of projects ago, because it's not really meant to be cutting circles. Yet here I am cutting circles. My dad helped me, or he actually soldered it back together for me, and it's worked out so far. Alright, so just real quick, let me loosen that. Bring that down, tighten that back up. Should be round enough. Hopefully. We'll try and turn a little knob on this. What did we have plugged in there? The lathe. That's what we have plugged in. One thing I need to do to this shaft is add more electricity. Oh, because we are not running out of electricity, but running out of outlets, and I don't want to run too many things on one circuit, you know. Okay. Get this turned back right. There we go. Now we gotta figure out how I'm gonna turn this. So I don't want to stick this on it. This is like obnoxiously big. I probably need to trim this more. Yeah, I'm going to trim that a little more, because that is, we got like 3/4 of an inch. No need to try and take all that off. Back to the benzo. closer to the size that we need. Okay. This should be good. I think this is going to be a nice combo. This is way too big, but I'm going to kind of cut a knob into that. Make it look like, or not make it look like, make a little handle out of that. Thank you for the Twitch follow we got. Appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Kind of new to Twitch and how that works. Stream to Twitch and YouTube. So, thank you for following. Both on YouTube and Twitch, of course. We are grateful for all the support. Okay, let's see here. So this... Right. Getting this thing off of here, I remember, was a pain. Let's see. This. That way tightens, and this way loosens. So. Ooh, that works. Let's post that up on there. Actually, I need to do that. There we go. Now I need to get this off. I don't have a great way of holding this. Perhaps that would hold. Nope. Let's see here what we got. Well, we are going to have to screw this to this and use that chuck because we got to turn that knob. Yeah. Alright. That is fine. Let me, bear with us here. Let's see. We're going to about 5 inches. Shit. 2 3/4, 7/8. Just getting a rough center on here. Seeing about where we need to go. Alright, so we'll go there. drill out for this. Little bit. And then we'll screw that on. I can find the right bit. So this is just going to have some holes on the bottom of it, I guess. So I made this kind of makeshift wooden plate to hold everything to. Hope we're focused there. Tighten that up. We'll throw this back in there. Tighten that down well. Alright. Got our bowl here. Set that over there. Let's see. There's our bowl. Spin around. Center here. Alright, let's get this to round, and then we will work to looking for this guy here. So we are working on a lid for this bowl. If you're just joining us, we just turn the inside of this, and this is a basswood bowl, and we are going to turn a lid out of this chunk of walnut here for that bowl. I got some screws in there. Hopefully I don't hit those screws, because that would not be good. Oh, let's slow that down a little bit. This is an old school lathe, so I've got to change the belt. Not change the belt, but, well, yeah, change the ratio the belt's running on. Just for these roughing passes here. Come out. There we go. Put it back that way. Okay. Ooh. Alright, we'll be a little rough at first. Let me raise this up a hair. It's going to be a little rough. Also, need to add the tailstock support. Duh. Can't forget that. Twitch channel is, I believe it's just K Crossman. Let me check that. Yeah. K Crossman, no space. K and then Crossman, yeah. Be careful not to get too small with this, otherwise we're not going to have a lid. Got my other set of calipers somewhere. I do need to clean this area up. Yikes, that's already close. Okay, so we don't need to take any more material off than that. We can go a little beyond that, but not much. So I'm going to turn the speed back up, switch to the smoothing tool. Now we're making a mess, huh? Getting it all in the microphone. Sorry about that. See where we are. We're at round, yep. Okay, now time to start shaping the handle. I think I'm going to go back to this. Okay, looking good. Let's see. I don't want the lid to be too thick. It's going to be a little difficult to make. See, those screws are... I'm trying to make this so we don't get the screws in here. Screws are 1.25 inches, so they're probably somewhere around here. Alright. So we want to be beyond that. Little handle, so if we go here to the bottom, and the knob will just kind of work out from there. Mainly self-taught. Like I said, I took a class like 5 or 6 years ago, but it was like one class, and then the rest is just being me messing around, you know. I need to, hold on, let me apologize for the mic real quick. Hopefully you can still hear me there. Try not to get dust all in it. That can't be good for it. That's gonna be some big tear out. Dang it. Yeah. We're gonna have to take that down some. So right now for the lid here on top of the bowl, I want there to be like a little graspable handle. So I'm getting the diameter of that shaped in here. So we are turning the top side of the lid right now. As we get closer to center, the piece of wood is turning slower and slower. So it doesn't leave as nice of a cut, so we have to really be careful and only take off a little bit at a time. So I'm literally just kind of taking a 32nd of an inch down to the center here. Bit by bit. Okay, I think we're going to take the support off here and turn away the top of this, switch to the smoother color for that. Lower this slightly. looking. Yeah, it's hard when you get to this very center because you get to that center point and it's a little hard to scoop out. Let's see what we're looking like. I'd like the top of this to have a little bit of a hollow in it, the top of the handle. Check it out. I think I'm liking that shape. Just need to clean it up with the sander. Alright, I'm going to switch to the pointed tool. I wish I had more actual handle parts for this set. This was just like a middle of the road Amazon tool set I bought. And it's worked well. The past few weeks I've been using it. They are smaller than I would like lengthwise. And it only comes with 2 handles, so anytime you want a new tool that's not one of the 2 you have out, you gotta readjust it. I'd recommend it for anybody getting into turning, but definitely will probably upgrade these sometime, maybe soon. Whoa! Bit of a catch there. Knocked us out of round. Oops. Da, 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 da. See. It's gonna be right there. Ooh. Uh-oh. What kind of issues here? This microphone has a magnet, and I went and it got stuck to the lathe there. Apologize if this sounds absolutely awful. Nice. This is kind of all out of whack now. Ugh. That sucks. I don't want to have to spin more of this down, but that's frustrating, huh? Yeah. That's way out of whack. That's not it. Tempting to kind of get this back to where it was freaking round. Oh boy. We're just going to have to go with that. Try and get it as close as we can back to it. Okay, that's not too bad. I will take that. I will take that all day. Alright, let's just quickly... work that back around. try not to get a catch again. Let's check that out. So that definitely is not around yet. Check on that. I think we might go to sanding there. Me. Whoops. Scrape the heck out of that. Alright. Let's look at that. Okay. I'm liking it. We'll sand it, spin it around, and pretty close to size, which is good. So let's get the sanding paper. Ooh. And let's see. Start off with 120. I don't have anything too big. 120 should be enough. Now this we're really going to try to make pop. The whole thing. Looking for any big tear out or turning marks. Looks like all sanding scratches, so we'll move up to 180. Uh, 180 out of 240 around here. There it is. Let me get the drill back. Yeah, we went to 2,000 on the bowl, so we'll try and do something similar with this here. Our tools out of the way. Uh-oh. A little bit of a split in the wood there. That's not too good. That should be okay. Switch to the... And we'll move up in the grits here. This is 240. 240. See what we got here. 600 might be our next jump. 6, 8. 6, 8, 12. this is looking like. Pretty good. Alright, so we will wax the outside of this. We'll spin this around. Ooh. This is one thing you don't want to do is use any sort of cloth when polishing. This is just a paper towel, rips very easily. You saw there it kind of got caught. If this were to get caught by any of the metal, it would shred and tear. Same reason why you don't wear gloves on a lathe. And this is woodworking on a lathe. Can be very dangerous, especially as you get into bigger lathes and higher speeds and whatnot. Oh, that just looks beautiful. That's gonna pair well. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Let's keep our fingers crossed, everybody. Let's see, do I want to cut it now? Yes. I think if we cut it now, we're going to have a better time getting everything to fit right. I don't want to just cut it off of that, so got a general line of where I want it to go. I'm going to cut this down a little bit with the... I wish I had a parting tool. That pointed tool kind of works as a parting tool, but on traditional high-speed steel tools, there's an actual parting tool. It's basically a very small blade. You can part your material off. I wish I had that here. I do not. So we're gonna have to just take it slow. Let's take our time. Let's not mess this up. So we've got it looking nice, and I don't want to mess it up. So yeah, it's not super perfect by the handle. We can still see some rings there from tooling and sanding, but it'll be alright. Alright, so that means I've already got it attached. Alright. Head back to that. I've unplugged it. Oof. Okay, so we're just going to slowly cut. That's as far as we're going to be able to go, unfortunately. Don't want to hit those screws in there. So we're just going to have to saw away at this for a minute. That's okay. I'll take this slow. Better safe than sorry, you know? My saw. Here it is. Okay. I was gonna say I could take this to the bandsaw, but cutting round things on the bandsaw can be a little sketchy. Taking quite forever. Well, I've got this. I've got that. As long as we don't hit the dang screws, should be alright. But so here's the top so far. Pairing that with that. Feel like I'm about to do something stupid. That's going to take forever to cut. Guess we could remove the waste on the lathe. Wouldn't be too hard, just gotta take it slow. Slow. The only thing is I need to protect, so we've got this nice sanded and polished, we need to protect that from getting scratched up by the jaws of the I'm going to do that by layering this up with some tape. I don't know how much tape to use. I think more is better than less. Really not trying to mar up this nice little handle. What time is it? 10 o'clock. hopefully be finishing this up in the next 30 minutes or so. We're going to go the safe route. Well, the safest route would have been using the handsaw to get this down, cut, remove most of that material. Second safest thing is going to be to chuck it back into the lathe. Just slowly remove material. Because we've got the lid shape here. I want it to be about this thick. And we've got, 3/4 of an inch to remove, which is a lot. Trying to get it close to center here. That's way out. It's pretty close there. Oops, wrong way. I thought I would like this type of chuck here, but I really don't. Because I keep forgetting which way is tight, which way is loose. The other ones with just the spin key, I think are a lot better. Okay, I'm going to tighten down the net. Hopefully we're not scarring that up too bad. Okay, that'll be good enough for now. Let's get this back and running. And just going to slowly work at it. Nice and steady. Thank you everybody for tuning in here. Hopefully within the next little while we'll have a nice complete project. We're on not the home stretch, we're about to round third base. I'm going to switch to a square roughing tool. I think that might serve us a little better here. Yeah, this is a lot better. Shoot. That's what we don't want to happen. Dang it. That may have been it. exactly what we did not want to happen there. Just to get a big catch. And try to approach from the front, kind of like this, and see how that goes. It's actually not too bad. Feels all right. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I'm hoping the amount of tape we had on the handle part saved us from any damage there, but we'll just have to see at the end. Okay. Alright, now we can get to sizing the lid to the box. Okay. I think we're okay. We just gotta be very careful now. Shape this corner well. There we go. That'll be good there. Raise this here. We're not quite round on the edge, so I'm gonna try and round that now. Taking the lightest cut I've ever taken. Alright, let's start fitting this to, we're not quite round yet. Let me get it round. Okay, so thinking we could take some off the total diameter of this. See where that puts us. Okay, I think I'm liking that. Go back to the square chisel cutter. Just trying to get these set to the inside diameter of this. This is definitely the coolest project I think we've done here so far. Set one. Okay. So, got a little while to go. Pretty good there. Alright. So now, just kind of need to bevel this. Slightly better fit. I think that'll do it. Okay. On to sanding. Ooh. We're going to need the 80 on this one for sure. 80 here. Let me clean that up a little bit. It'll be a lot easier to do with this. The tool than the sandpaper. Shit! Ow. It's my finger. Okay, seems pretty good there. And we will clean that up. Okay. Good fit all around. That's some 180 somewhere. Here it is.
Alright, we'll work up through the grits here. See, 1800 there. Really need to organize this place a lot better. Oh, wait. $246, 8. Switch on over to the drill sander. And I need some more room here. Almost to the big reveal. Double check this. We're adding the finish. It's wax time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on the home stretch. For this project here, and that walnut really pops once we get that wax on it. I mean, really pops. Looks good. Okay, now is the moment of truth. Did this get... Man, everything is a mess. Moment of truth. Did this get messed up or not on that one skip? By golly, I think we just might be alright. Yes, sir. Yes, we are. All right. Heck yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Here's the lid. So we get a focus up close.
There's the lid. Here's our bowl. And that about does it. Not the best fit I would hope for. Whoops. But hey, for a first time lid that we made, man, let's look at that. Pretty proud of that. Feel like I'm on QVC selling some wooden bowls. Thank you, thank you. There's the wood lid. Nice little knob on that. Get that shimmer of light on there. Walnut, basswood. Walnut's got a little bit of the sapwood in there. Kind of goes well with that. There it is. So, it is kind of late here. 10:30 a.m. Not too late. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out, chatting it up. Love talking with you guys. Yeah, this is the best thing we've made on here so far, and only gonna go up from here. So yeah, next stream will be, that's loud. Next stream will be next Tuesday, and I think we're gonna try and give away what we make if I can get all the kinks worked out. Regardless, we'll be back here next Thursday. Look at how the light, like when the grain, see that? I love that. Seeing that on wood. Depending how the grain is. That shimmer there. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for following along. Thanks for following on Twitch, on YouTube. All of the channels. I'm about to head to bed. I know over there in Australia it's Wednesday, so it must be morning time, I guess. But there we go. Just trying to find a place to set this thing. 1:30 p.m. afternoon. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna have to enjoy the rest of my evening, get a good night's rest, and we'll be back here next Tuesday. Hopefully, I'll have the new video out before then. We could get on here and chat about it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've got to go clean myself up and head to bed. So we will see you next week. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. And yeah, peace out. See y'all later.